Pro-Palestinian rallies have taken place across the UK as protesters held a day of national action. The protests took the form of more than 100 smaller rallies at various locations. As Sky's Becky Johnson reports.
Large pro-Palestinian crowds gathered in cities and towns across the UK.
Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
From Leeds to Wolverhampton,
We are all Palestinians!
Bristol to Oxford.
Israel is a terrorist state!
While up in Glasgow, the weather didn't stop hundreds turning out.
Free Palestine!
In London, there was anger with politicians at several demonstrations held around the capital.
What do we want? Ceasefire! What do we want? Now!
It just seems like they're deaf. They don't want to hear anything, or they can't see what's going on.
All of us as a community want a ceasefire, and no one's listening.
Free Palestine!
6 weeks on from the atrocities committed by Hamas in Israel, these pro-Palestinian demonstrations continue to attract large numbers. People who do not support the government or the opposition for backing Israel's response. In Tower Hamlets, some Labour voters said they now feel politically homeless.
I think that Keir Starmer has condoned genocide in his words. And
I left the Labour Party last week. I can't vote for Labour anymore.
Ceasefire now!
After a difficult week for the Labour leader, with several of his MPs resigning over his refusal to call for a ceasefire, there was anger from protesters in his London constituency.
Shame on you, Keir Starmer, shame on you.
We do need to have public accountability for MPs' actions, because the actions that they are condoning or, allowing for to happen in other parts of the world brings the question of what would they allow to happen to us over here.
But as police watched on around the country, many joined in a chant that's widely perceived to be an anti-Semitic demand for the destruction of Israel.
From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free!
Do you think Israel had a right to defend itself after what happened on October 7th?
I can't speak for the state of Israel. I don't think they have the right to bomb occupied territory. I don't think they have the right to occupy.
Palestine!
It's a view that's widely held by the many thousands who've taken to the streets, and a view that's impossible to reconcile with the position of both the UK government and the opposition.
Around 170,000 people in Spain marched through the country's capital in the largest protest yet against the controversial Catalan amnesty law. Spain's Socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez was sworn in for his second term on Friday after securing the support from Catalan pro-independence parties. In return for their support, Sanchez agreed to offer amnesty to those involved in an unsuccessful push for Catalonia to secede from Spain 6 years ago. Demonstrations have been held every day for the past 2 weeks in front of the Socialist Party's headquarters in Madrid.